All right, so let's get into it.
Okay.
So yeah, no, LCB, the pod is done, but I don't think that's a reason for us to completely stop doing movie content.
Mhm.
One, because I don't think that should ever go away at Barstool, even if it's not Jeff, Ken, Jack, or me. And two, I'm annoying and I want to talk about my movie opinions. So I'm gonna keep doing it. Yeah, exactly. And this is a movie, we're gonna do Saltburn today. This is a movie that Gia texted me about like a month ago, like asked me if I'd seen it. Madeline, also at the company, asked me about it. Pretty much all the girls at the company have asked me about it. So
I wonder why.
It's a very girl-coded movie, written, directed by a woman, Emerald Fennell. So I figured Gia would be the perfect person to have on first. And in the future, probably bring her back on for animated movies, which she loves.
I do.
And bring in other Barstool employees too, obviously. Pretty much the goal is to, anytime there's a movie out that I've seen and another Barstool employee has seen, or a show that I've watched that just came out and another Barstool employee has seen it, I want to get on and just talk about it. Because I know some people hate Barstool employees' opinions on movies. I think they're hilarious. Very common man.
Depends on who's giving their opinion too.
Yeah, I mean, if I want to, I could sit and talk to Stephen Shea about, Anatomy of a Fall. I'm sure he'd hate it, but
yeah, right.
Yeah, anything. So yeah, that's the plan for now. Hopefully I can get this into a podcast feed because I do know a lot of people can't sit and watch YouTube videos. I've been there and had those jobs where it's just like, you can't do it. But for now, this is just going to be on YouTube. And like I said, I'm going to try to get this into podcast feeds. So let's start with Saltburn. What did you think this movie was going to be about going in? Because the trailer was obviously very stylish and flashy.
Yeah.
But I had no clue what to expect. I thought it would be like an Eat the Rich movie or something.
I thought that it was going to be some sort of love story between Barry Keoghan and Jacob Elordi. I thought it was going to, I knew that there was going to be some sort of, thriller component. Like I knew one of them was going to be bad, I guess you could say. I didn't think it was going to be Barry Keoghan's character. But yeah, I thought it was going to be some sort of like fucked up love story.
See, I didn't even get that. I can't even read the subtext in romantic relationships, I guess. That's the issue here.
I also just feel like anything with Jacob Elordi, like you can't not have a character fall in love with him.
That's fair. I'll be honest, and we'll talk a little bit more about Jacob later, but I have completely flipped on the man this past year. He's been booked and busy, as they like to say. Before this year, I just figured hot guy from Euphoria, a show that I don't really care for all that much, so I haven't watched enough of it. He can actually act. He can really act. Like
he got a lot of shit like 2 or 3 weeks ago because in the press he basically said that he doesn't care about what was it? The Kissing Booth series. He was like, I want to forget about the Kissing Booth. Like I don't want to talk about it. I don't even really want to acknowledge it. And people were kind of like, you can't forget your roots. Like you have to remember that you were in the Kissing Booth. They gave you the stardom that you have now. And he can't even deny it because that's what everyone's like, who is this guy? He's so cute. And turns out he is a great actor too.
See, that's where I think he would have broken through at some point. That guy's not sitting on the shelf. That's like Robert Pattinson. Like every interview, Robert Pattinson when with Twilight gets brought up, his brain shuts off. He hates it so much. So good for Jacob here. So yeah, coming in, I had no clue what to expect with this movie. Did you see Promising Young Woman? Fennell's
I did.
Fennell's last movie. So I did kind of figure there would be, very dramatic out there stuff, but I don't think anything could have prepared me for what I saw that fateful afternoon. 2 edibles deep.
Oh no. Oh my God. I can't even imagine.
That's the only way to watch this movie. Yeah. So what was your initial reaction walking out of the theater without giving away any spoilers, like after you had sat through all those events?
So I remember I tweeted like, I'm about to go see Saltburn. And you replied something along the lines of like, your life is about to be changed, or like your life perspective is about to be changed forever. And Kelly Keegs was like, oh, prepare yourself. Like you're going to walk out a changed woman. I don't know if I'm just so used to crazy shit on in movies now. I feel like every movie is just trying to one up each other, that it didn't really faze me that much. Like, obviously I was like, oh my God, what am I watching? Like, this is crazy. But I didn't walk out of the movie theater being like, I've never seen anything like that before. Like my whole perspective on films are changed. But it definitely, I had high expectations and it met them like beyond. I thought it was a beautiful, like very interesting. And I did not see, it was an unexpected ending too. Like I had an idea of where it was going to go halfway through, and it was not, the way that ended was not what I thought it was going to be at all.
Oh yeah, the back third of this movie just completely flips at some, like a switch gets turned at some point and it just kicks into a different gear, like a completely different automobile. Yeah. Yeah. And I felt the same way leaving the theater. Like I was shocked. I'm not used to stuff like that, Gia. I'm an innocent person. Yeah.
Come on. You ever seen like Midsummer? Like I feel like Midsummer had crazier shit than that.
Yeah, that's fair, but that's also a horror. That's a horror movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
And this movie's been like it was very polarizing going in, at least from the reviews. Like the reactions from critics were, especially from critics. Critics don't like this movie for the most part.
Really?
They think it's a little hoity, or the word that gets thrown around a lot is hollow.
Okay.
Which is why I think I enjoyed this movie more than most critics, because I think you have to be either dumb or willing to be dumb to really love this movie. Because if you try to go in and like analyze it from like a critical perspective and take out themes and be like, what does it all mean? I don't think you're going to enjoy this movie. Right. I don't think there is a depth to it. And I think that's kind of the awesome part about it, is it's so shallow. It's so like surface level.
Yeah, I think that kind of like makes sense with the characters that we're dealing with, you know, with what's his name? Felix and his whole family. Like they are the definition of shallow. So
the names in this movie.
Yeah, they're hard.
Felix Catton. Felix Cat. His last name was Cat. Yeah, Felix Cat. Isn't there a Felix the Cat? All right, that's
or feline. Felix?
Oh, that's probably what I'm thinking.
Felix?
All right.
Yeah,
so you got to be some level of stupid to love this movie. Yeah, you got that. Farley, Venetian. Good Lord. She was cooking up a storm with these names.
Yeah.
So yeah, this movie, I think if you try to like be like, is it a Best Picture winner? No. Is it a movie that I will remember for the rest of my life and probably watch multiple times again? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Totally. Very fun. What did you think about, and I don't want to pivot too hard, but the 2006 setting? So you're what, 23, 24?
24.
So you very firmly remember 2006, correct? Somewhat.
I mean, I'm 7 years old. I don't know.
Come on. You remember.
I know like the vibes of 2006. Like I know Nickelback. There was a lot of polo shirts. There was the double popped collar. I feel like was a big thing in 2006. Yeah.
Real Men Wear Pink. That was a very popular graphic tee at the time.
Okay, that makes sense. Was the boobies bracelets? Was that a thing? That was later.
That was like
2012.
That was later.
Oh, no,
But the setting, choosing to set a movie in 2006, it's got to be one of the more random settings.
Very
and the way
random,
they play it, the way they play it up with like just like the music, which music ruled in this movie.
Oh yeah, soundtrack was amazing.
Dumb stuff like they're watching Superbad at one point, even though it wasn't out, which people pointed out. Yeah, which I didn't notice while I was watching the movie. I was like, didn't think of it. See, this is why you have to be dumb to love this. But it didn't come out for like 6 months after summer of 2006. So that 2006 setting, I just had to get that out of the way, because that, like, what's the most random? Like, think of a movie was set in like 2014. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I'm curious as to why she chose 2006. I feel like maybe it was before everything turned like so technology based. So like he I don't want to say spoilers, but like what happens at the end, like makes more sense for him to get away with it, you know, because there's like less technology, less use of cell phones and stuff.
Yeah, nobody recording him what he's doing in the bathroom.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, he's a little freak. Probably got away with a lot more without iPhones around. And it helps that Fennell, I think, is like in her late 30s. She's much younger than I thought she was. When I looked this up. Yeah, she's been around for a while.
Isn't she Midge in the Barbie movie?
She is. She was an actress before she was a writer-director. And then she worked on Killing Eve.
Oh, okay.
Have you watched that? Yeah, she did a lot of work on Killing Eve. I know that won a
bunch of stuff, right? It always would win.
Yeah, that was Phoebe Waller-Bridge production too, with Sandro and God, what's her face? Jodie Comer. Oh, I love her. And Sandro.
Jodie Comer, she's going to be in a movie with Austin Butler, right?
Yeah, the Bike Riders.
Yeah,
which very abruptly got like dropped by the distributor. Very big mess. Got dropped by like Sky or something, was going to be the distributor, and got picked up by someone new. So it's coming out next summer, but that's besides the point. For you, who had, before we get into kind of, there's a few spoiler things that I really want to talk about, just reactions to specific scenes. Before we get to that, who was your like MVP from this movie? Because there's a few people I think you can choose.
Yeah, I don't know. I really liked the sister. I liked Venetia.
She was before we move on. She hasn't been in a lot of stuff. Nothing I'd seen. Allison Oliver.
I didn't recognize her at all.
She was
great. I thought
she
she was phenomenal.
Yes. I'm glad you said that, because I haven't seen anybody talk about her, and I was like, who is she? And she did great. Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely stood out to me. And then the mom and the dad, they stood out to me. Rosamund Pike just absolutely was phenomenal in that role. And I loved the dad. The dad I didn't like him until the end more. He kind of seemed a bit more like aloof to me in the beginning, but by the end of the movie, I was like, oh wait, I really like the dad too. But yeah, Rosamund Pike, I think, was definitely the number one standout for me.
She was so cunty. She was just the cuntiest. She's just the cuntiest woman alive.
She really was. She really, really was. And I think that's why I loved her so much, because she really just lived in her own world. And in that world, she was the queen. And I appreciate that.
She said, she had one line where it was like, the woman who had been staying with her, they found out she had died after leaving of her not own free will.
Yeah, right.
And she was like, oh, she was always so dramatic. Just like, so mean.
I love that. Yeah, it's so funny.
And she's actually picking up steam now for a supporting actress nom, which I wouldn't have guessed leaving the movie. I just didn't think critics liked it enough for her to get that, but she got it for the Globe, so picking up steam that way.
I hope so. I think she was phenomenal.
Yeah, my MVP personally, I think it's Barry.
Yeah,
I've been banging the drum for Barry for a long time. I was heartbroken when he didn't win last year for Banshees. I did a little There Goes That Dream.
I know. That was highway robbery. Banshees of Inisherin was so good, and that's why I was confused with his role now, because I guess my last time I saw him on screen was Banshees. So then when I saw him again, I kind of had that character in my mind, and he kind of acted similar to him in the beginning.
A little bit. He acted a little autistic, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Like the social cues were definitely not there.
No. Oh my gosh. He was. That's why by the end of the movie, you're like, this is a completely different person.
Yeah, totally.
He shows up. He's got his little. They try to pour him up a little bit, but he just looked like he just left. He shopped at the Gap for the most part with his spectacles and his comb over. Yeah. By the end, good Lord, he was ass out. We'll get to it, but Barry Keoghan, I wish him nothing but the best. And you have decided the final verdict on hot or not.
Yes, I have decided Barry Keoghan's hot. He's added to my list of white men that I love. And yeah, I the whole movie I was sitting there is he hot? Is he not? Is he hot? Is he not? I can't tell. One scene I'd be like, yes, he is. Then the next scene I'd be like, oh no, he's kind of freaky looking. But this girl, Quenlin Blackwell, she described it perfectly. He's giving uncanny. Like his look is so uncanny. It's like nothing I've ever seen before in my life. Jarring. Like his facial structure is just so jarring.
It's like Willem Dafoe is like a handsome man.
Yes.
But like in the most unsettling way.
Yes. In the most unique way humanly possible. And when I saw the Eternals, I was like, who is this guy? He's so hot. Like, he's very suave. And then I saw him in Banshees and I was like, oh, I don't know what the fuck I'm thinking. And then I came to my final conclusion after Saltburn.
Just wait for his next movie. He's playing the Elephant Man. I'm just kidding.
He is? Oh my God.
No, he's booked though. Good Lord.
Yeah, he's going to be the next new big guy, I think.
Yeah, like you said, that distinctive face will take him a far way. Because like when you have like a face that you can actually remember, that'll take you further than anything.
That uncanny face.
I'm sure he's going to love that. He's going to listen to this, by the way. He's going to be like,
oh, totally,
just heartbroken. All right.
I mean it as a compliment.
So, if you haven't watched the movie yet and you don't want things to be spoiled for you, go click on a different one of our videos or go watch some Taylor watch. All right.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk a little spoilers. First one I want to talk about, and it gets later into the movie, is when the shit really starts to happen. I don't know which one I want to start with. Let's start with the... Because they kind of start to happen back to back to back. Let's start with the period one. That one happens first. So he hooks up with Felix's sister, Venetia, outside his window on the estate on Saltburn. And like you said, at the beginning of the movie, he's just a shy little, slightly maybe, is there something going on in his head? And then this is where it starts to really turn. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? He's kind of like acting like her dom, like he's like, he went a little Christian Grey there for a second. He's figuring her, she's on her period, and he's like painting her face like a Native American. Like it is unsettling.
Yeah.
There were people that left the theater.
Oh, really?
At least in my theater when that happened. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice anyone. I didn't even really like it's definitely like a scene that like I was like, oh, but at the same time I was like,
That's when you were like, yeah, hot.
I was like, I don't know where this side of this character came from. It just happened so out of the blue. And I was like, oh, wait a second. I think that's when he kind of realized like he can manipulate all of them to kind of work in his favor in a way. But I didn't really understand the motivation as to why he wanted to do that, like just to make Felix jealous.
I still can't figure it out either.
Yeah.
Like I said,
didn't really
I think
understand.
You got to be dumb for this movie. You got to be dumb. And I don't know what he was doing. I think he just was fucking around. I think he was just a sociopath, to be honest.
Yeah. I think he just used like sex to like have somewhat of an upper hand against them. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe he just was so frustrated that he couldn't get with Jacob Elordi. I mean, it'll drive a man crazy, let me tell you. Jacob Elordi with his little, it was a shame that his mom wouldn't let him have his little eyebrow ring in. Because that man was unstoppable when he had that piercing going. I was like, I
couldn't stop thinking about it for days.
Yeah, looked good. So the period blood scene, really, I was like, holy shit. Can't believe they're doing this. They did that. And then almost immediately right after, the infamous bathtub scene. Yeah. The bathtub scene is going to be talked about for years and years. And that's going to be turned into a meme. Yeah. I saw one Letterboxd review that said, and you'll like this, that this movie does for bathtubs what Call Me By Your Name did for peaches.
Yes, that is very true, honestly.
Yeah. He gets in the bathtub after Jacob, I assume, has been either he jacked off or he's just bathing in it. I can't decide.
He was totally jerking off. Totally.
Okay. I didn't know if he was just super relaxed Sometimes, guys let out noises when we're just chilling. I do it all the time.
True.
So anyways, he licks up his spunk out of the drain, which can't say I've ever done that.
No, that's when you realize, okay, this guy's insane. Like, it's one thing with the period blood, like, some guys are just weird like that. That is a whole next level of fucking creepy. And the fact that he watched him the entire time, waited for him to get up and leave, and then get in there, like, are you not nervous that he's going to walk back in? It was a lot.
It was the sound effects, the zoom up. They really lingered on it too. It wasn't like a moment. It was like, you're going to watch him lick this thing dry like a dog. This movie, by the way, for the horny people out there, good Lord, this is like a gooner's paradise. I mean, this movie
totally. It was a lot of a lot of sex going on just from Barry Keoghan's character. Literally, he was just fucking everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he had a huge hog. They pointed that out, which that was, not to get too sidetracked for a second, but so the biracial, the mixed guy,
what's his
Archie
name?
Madekwe.
Farley?
Yeah, Farley. Did you think he was attractive here?
No.
Not to like start just saying like who's hot and who's not, but it's very funny because I was like, oh, this guy's. It's funny to see him play this character right after he played the Gamer to Racer movie because he was the Gran Turismo guy where he's supposed to be this huge nerd that no one can touch. And then the next thing I see him in is this movie where he's like this posh, British guy.
Yeah.
Wearing suits on a tennis court, drinking champagne.
I didn't even put two and two together, honestly. I had no idea who he was before this.
Yeah, very funny. So staying on sex, because like I said, this is a horny movie. We're going to go to the grave scene. This is where
Well, even before that, he hooks up with Farley. And he gets into his bed.
Gia, I forgot about his relationship with Farley.
Yeah. And he blackmails him. That's why when he went into bed with him, I was like, okay, that makes no sense. Why the hell is he trying to fuck him now? But then it makes sense later on. You realize that he used his phone to send that email that got him in trouble. But I was just like, oh, he's hitting all of the bases, but he's not even clearing the one base that he wants, Jacob Elordi. It's like, I feel like if he just asked, he would have hooked up with him.
Do you think
a move?
Do you think he actually wanted to hook up with Felix, or do you think he just wanted the estate and the money?
I think he just wanted Felix to like him. I think he just wanted Felix's approval, whether it was sexually or friendship wise. And once Felix was like, I can't trust you. You're a monster. I don't know who you are. He knew that he was fucked. So he had to take the route of just taking over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like it was a bit of both. Yeah, I think he had conflicted feelings there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, the Archie thing, and then he also tries to hook up a little bit. He flirts with the mom, Rosamund, for a little bit. Which was
funny.
Who hasn't done that with your friend's mom? That was fair game. I think that was the most tame thing ever. Flirting with friends' hot moms.
You just called her beautiful or something?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, grow up. But then Jacob does die. Felix does pass away, which wearing those little angel wings, the costumes in this movie are just brilliant. Yeah. It looks fantastic. I hope it picks up a cinematography nom. I'm not huge on awards. I don't really love talking about them, but I think it does deserve some recognition. At least it looks
very aesthetically pleasing. Yeah.
Yes. It's one of those movies you can actually just no sound or just have it on in the background and just look up and just kind of enjoy it that way. Looks great. But we're going to move to the grave scene. They bury Felix. Everyone leaves the funeral very ceremoniously and they don't think twice about him staying.
Yeah, I don't. It's just I knew it was coming. It was a very long scene as well. Yeah,
I mean, he gets in there. In there. He gets up out the mud. He pulls him. It's literally, this is the metaphor she was trying to make. He pulls himself up out the mud.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think she was trying to say anything in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I when he first walks up to the grave, I was like, okay, he's gonna do something weird. Like, there's no way that he's not gonna do something weird. Then he starts like caressing the dirt and starts like laying in it, like breathing it in. And I'm like, oh god, he's gonna fuck the grave. He's gonna fuck the grave. This guy's fucked everybody in town. So his last resort now is he has to fuck the grave. And I again, another shocking scene that I kind of was like, it could have been worse because I saw that one coming.
I think that was the least shocking
that one. Yeah, I agree.
But there was there's a split second there where I thought he was going to literally dig the grave up and dig up the body. And I was like,
me too.
We going there?
That would have been a whole nother fucking level of actually disturbing and disgusting. That's like a line that I just don't think you can cross. Like, what is that? Necrophilia? Like, that's just that's just.
Yeah, you would know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check her computer.
What is that called again? I wouldn't know.
And then let's get to the best scene of the movie, in my opinion, and that would be the final scene. One of my favorite final scenes, I think, ever.
Really iconic. Really iconic.
So he finally gets the estate, and he finally gets the estate. And this is 8 years later. It's like 2015, 2016 or something at that point.
Yeah.
And he just dances around the crib. I mean, that's what, if you think about it, that's what I would do too. Like, he danced around the crib to Sophie Ellis Bextor, butt ass naked, hog flapping in the wind. And it's just,
like, he just won the jackpot. So it's like, what else are you going to do besides dance naked in your giant fucking house?
God, and that song, the choreography, the camera following him around the big estate, so colorful. Did you ever see Another Round?
No.
A few years ago. It ends not obviously the same way, but it does end with just dancing and singing. This took that to a whole nother level and plays out so much longer and so much, I think, even better. It's just so absurd. It's so absurd and so memorable. Everything about this movie is so memorable, which I love, because I'll see better movies. Like, I saw a movie that I'm sure is going to pick up a lot of award buzz and critics have loved it. I saw it this week, Zone of Interest. It's a Holocaust movie, sent at a concentration camp. Very dark. I don't know how much I'm going to remember that in 2 years, 3 years, because I don't think I'm ever going to watch it again. And it doesn't have anything really like this where it's like, holy fuck. Yeah. I'm going to remember this for, I think, forever. This movie is just highly memorable. And the same thing with Promising Young Woman, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Promising Young Woman is like, I mean, I feel like no one's done a movie like that ever, where they've tried to tackle like such a intense storyline. But yeah, Emerald Fennell, she really has a beautiful eye for like colors and the way things are set up. I don't know. I thought that end scene was just perfect, cherry on top, like, to an already crazy movie. It's funny because I saw a lot on Twitter. I tried to avoid spoilers, but I saw like, oh, Barry Keoghan, like, his dick's out, like, whatever, you're going to see it. And I was like, okay, like, the whole movie, like, okay, like, when is it coming? And then there's that scene where they're all like naked randomly in the field, and they're all like, wow, like, you actually have a huge dick. Like, what the hell? Like, why didn't you say anything? I was like, oh, okay, this is the time. Like, I'm ready. And then it's not to the way end, kind of when you least expect it. And yeah, I just thought it was such a funny, like, perfect note to end the movie. Like, the bad guy wins, but at the same time, like, you're kind of rooting for him because it's like hilarious. Yeah,
it's hilarious. And it doesn't try to, I've seen some people try to like be like, oh, it's because it's like, it's a class movie, which there's been a lot of those lately where it's like, eat the rich, like, rich people bad.
Yeah.
I don't think she's really ever trying to say that.
I know.
At any point.
I that's what my friend, my friend who I saw it with, she was like, it kind of gave me like Parasite vibes, where, you know, like, they destroy the house from within. But I really don't think he had the intention of becoming like a rich man. I really think it was just his insane obsession with Felix.
Yeah. he liked Felix. He liked the house. He's like, you know what? Fuck these summer readings.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to take the house instead.
Yeah, literally.
So we're in agreement on this, which I'm happy about because I can't deal with the people who are taking this movie too seriously because I don't think it's meant to be taken seriously on really many levels at all. One big final question, pulled it out of our Discord. Let me pull up the name actually before I do this because I did tell them I would do it. Okay, this one comes from Badger Rock.
Hell yeah.
Or Bad Garrick, one of the two. If you had to drink one person in the world's bathwater, who would you drink?
Oh my God, that's so hard. Because there's really so many that I would.
Oh my God. That's gross. Got a full book right here, actually.
Yeah, come on, Cooch. You can't say that. I feel like you have so many too. I mean, obviously the first person that comes off the top of my head is Harry Styles. Okay. But I'm going to give special shout out to Tom Blythe. He just starred in Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, and he's my new hot guy of the month. So Tom Blythe.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, no, I like Tom Blythe now. Another guy who I really flipped, I really didn't know anything about him, and I was just like, oh, he's just a hot guy. Guy can act. We got a lot of good hot guy young actors going right now.
Really?
And interesting looking. And interesting looking.
Interesting, yes.
Interesting looking young actors.
Bunch of uncanny.
You've seen Dune, right? You love Dune, actually.
Yes. Love Dune.
So I'm gonna actually go with Baron Harkonnen's bathwater. That little black liquid.
Worm?
It looks like chocolate, like a really good
thick worm guy?
Oh yeah, I want that.
You're gonna drink his bathwater.
You see what he's sitting in? That bathtub? It looks like a delicious, like chocolate fudge.
No, I don't remember that.
And 1B would be Florence Pugh, but we don't have to get into that.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I thought with Dune, that's where you were going. But
well, I told Florence I wouldn't say that on this pod, but
we're trying to respect her boundaries.
Yes, and then give me your final score before we get out of here. You can give it in any format.
5.
Any format you want to do.
Yeah. I feel like 5 is, if out of 5 stars, I would give it 4.
Okay. That's a great score. I gave it 4.5 on mine. So
yeah, I gave 4. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I would definitely watch it again. It's going to be out on Amazon Prime next week. I'm definitely going to watch it again. I think Barry Keoghan killed it. Jacob Elordi was amazing, and they just have years and years and years of acting ahead of them. Like, they're going to be the next new It people for sure. And yeah, I loved everything about it.
There we go.
I just wish it had more like substance, I guess. Like you said, it was very hollow. There was really no like meaning behind a lot of it, which kind of was frustrating because I like to, read about stuff and deep dive after movies, and there wasn't really much discourse because it was just people being like, yeah, I don't know.
We're anti-reading here. This is the movie pod.
Really?
This is movie pod. We don't do reading.
Well, but sometimes I walk out of movies, I'm like, I don't really understand like what I'm looking at, so I need to read so I can get it more,
Listen, that happened with me for like Beau is Afraid. I said I was very middle of the road on Beau is Afraid, and by saying that I mean like I didn't really care for it. And people were like, "Oh no, like you got to read like this," and then I'm like, "I'm not reading. I'm not doing that."
That is true. I guess if a movie like makes you like read about it after, then like it didn't really do a good job of explaining. But I don't know. I like to like read about the hidden themes and stuff.
No, sometimes it's good. I agree.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you for coming on and doing this. Hopefully we can do it again soon. I know this is fun. Great first guest. Any closing comments? Go listen to Taylor Watch.
Yes,
anything else we can catch you on?
Taylor Watch, The Dozen, Root for the Honkers.
There we go.
And that's just about it.
All right. Well, this has been our first, I don't know what to call these yet. We're just going to call it a movie review. First movie review with Barstool employees. We'll catch you next time. See ya.